We have arrived at the final lecture of this course. Over the past few weeks, we have examined aging through biological, psychological, sociocultural, economic, policy, communication, and equity lenses. Now it's time to bring it all together. Today, we focus on designing and proposing innovative interventions that address the complex realities of aging, while advancing health equity and promoting dignity, autonomy, and inclusion. Innovation in aging is not just about creating something new. It's about creating something better, something more equitable, more integrated, and more responsive to lived experience. In the article Successful Aging 2.0, Rowe and Kahn argue that the original model of successful aging, defined by low disease risk, high functioning, and high engagement, must be expanded. They emphasize that aging does not occur in a vacuum devoid of context. It unfolds within institutions, policies, labor markets, housing systems, and communities. They propose three major expansions. 1. Re-engineering core societal institutions. 2. Adopting a life course perspective. And 3. Focusing on human capital and the longevity dividend. This expansion is needed for innovation. If our institutions were built for a younger society, they may not support aging populations effectively. Innovation then can't rely solely on programmatic adjustment. It instead requires structural redesign. Let's discuss a step-by-step process we can employ to better engage in such structural redesign. Every innovative intervention must begin with a foundational question. Who is currently being left out? Designing for the average older adult often perpetuates inequity. An equity-driven intervention asks, which populations experience the greatest disparities? How do race, income, gender, disability, geography, and sexual orientation intersect? And what structural barriers exist in access to care, housing, food, or transportation? Innovation without equity risks reinforcing inequality. Equity must be built into an intervention's target population, implementation strategy, and evaluation metrics, and funding model. Innovative thinking requires moving beyond surface-level symptoms. For example, if older adults experience social isolation, the root causes may include transportation barriers, housing design, digital exclusion, caregiver burnout, and neighborhood disinvestment. If, on the other hand, older adults face healthcare access barriers, the problem may lie in insurance eligibility gaps, workforce shortages, cultural mismatch, or even fragmented funding systems. In this way, Rowe and Kahn remind us that institutions may not be aligned with demographic reality. Therefore, innovation must examine structure as well as behavior. Throughout this course, we have repeatedly seen that aging is shaped by healthcare, housing, transportation, nutrition, economic security, and social connection. In this way, innovative interventions often require cross-sector integration. For example, a hospital-based intervention aimed at reducing readmissions might incorporate things like home-delivered meals, transportation coordination, medication management, caregiver education, or community health worker follow-up. Each of these approaches has the potential to directly or indirectly impact hospital readmissions. As such, one can easily see that innovation is often less about invention and more about integration. Rowe and Kahn emphasize the importance of adopting a life course perspective, as aging outcomes reflect cumulative experiences. An innovative intervention should ask, can we intervene earlier in the life course? Are there midlife opportunities to prevent late life disparities? And how do caregiving burdens ripple across decades? Examples of early in-life policies and programs which can impact later life include workplace flexibility policies, which affect retirement security, early chronic disease screening, which reduces later life disability, and financial literacy programs that improve long-term stability. Equity-oriented innovation tries to anticipate, rather than react to, aging concerns and issues. Rowe and Kahn introduced the idea of the longevity dividend. Longer lives should not be viewed as a burden, but instead an opportunity. Innovative interventions might develop intergenerational mentorship networks, expand age-friendly employment opportunities, support older adult entrepreneurship, or promote lifelong learning. Put another way, innovative solutions to aging issues should take into account the strengths of our elders and harness them for community improvement. An innovative intervention must survive beyond a pilot test. Questions we should be asking in the development phase: how will it be funded long term? Does it align with Medicare or Medicaid reimbursement models? Can it be embedded into existing community infrastructure? And does it rely on short term grant funding or is it scalable? Sustainability requires policy alignment, financial viability, workforce capacity, and community buy in. Finally, innovation must be accountable across a variety of stakeholders, and thus, we must be prepared to measure the success of the policies and programs we develop. Metrics could include measures of functional outcomes, reductions in disparities, caregiver burden, social engagement, cost effectiveness, and participant satisfaction, to name but a few examples. Equity requires disaggregated data. If an intervention improves outcomes overall but leaves disparities unchanged, it's not fully successful. When designing an innovative intervention, consider this sequence. 1. Define the problem through an equity lens. 2. Identify structural barriers. 3. Engage community stakeholders in co-design. 4. Align with existing funding streams. 5. Integrate across sectors where possible. And 6. Pilot, evaluate, refine, and scale. Innovation in aging must be ethical, inclusive, evidence-informed, politically aware, and sustainable. Let us take a moment to reflect on the journey of this course. We began with foundational theories of aging, biological, psychological, and sociocultural. We examined the demographic transition and population aging, ageism and the gerontological imagination, physical and cognitive changes in later life, emotional development and resilience, cross-cultural perspectives, communication and ethics, economic security and health policy, community-based supports, and health equity. Across these topics, one theme has remained constant. Aging is shaped by structure as much as biology. Successful aging is not merely an individual accomplishment, it is a societal achievement. Rowan Kahn challenged us to re-engineer institutions, adopt life course thinking, and focus on the human capital of aging populations. Health equity demands that we ensure all older adults, not just the privileged few, have the opportunity to age with dignity. As you move forward in your professional careers, consider these final reflective questions. How will you challenge ageism in your field? How will you design programs that account for structural inequities? How will you integrate health and social care? How will you ensure that innovation is inclusive? The aging of society is not a problem to solve. It is a transformation we must learn to navigate. Whether it becomes a crisis or a longevity dividend depends on the policies, programs, and leaders we cultivate. Thank you for engaging deeply in this course and for contributing to the future of equitable, innovative, and compassionate aging policy and practice. This concludes the third and final lecture for Module 8 and the final lecture for this course. If you have any questions about the material covered in this lecture, please contact your instructor for this course. Thanks for watching.